Hi, welcome to Layman's Guide to Cracking the Coding Interview. I'm Jux, and today we have some merging of the time interval problem. So here's our question. So given a collection of intervals, merge all the overlapping intervals. So we'll have a given intervals as a tuple of two items, and we'll have a list of those tuples. So each tuple is an interval from the starting point and the ending point, and we have all those intervals, and we need to merge if there is any overlapping. So in this case, we have a 1 and 3, and the second tuple or the second interval is from 2 to 6. So in this case, 2 would be a subset of 3, so we have to merge that. So we're going to have the 1 and 6. And in this case, there's a 8. 8 doesn't overlap with 6. It remains isolated, so 8 and 6 as a separate interval. And another would be the 15 and 18. 15 doesn't lies as a subsection of the subset of the 8 and 10, or shouldn't be inside the 8, 10, so it remains as a separate interval. So when we merge, we'll have the 1 and 6, 8 and 10, and 15 and 18. And another example would be this one. So we have a tuple of 1, 2, 3, 4 for time interval. And for every time interval, we have a first and the last time point. And we have, at the beginning, we have a 2 and 4, and 4 and 7. So since 4 and 4 are same, so it should be within the one subsection. So we'll do the merging from 2 to 7. So once we have a 2 to 7, we compare with another next one. So that's 6 and 8. So 6 should lie inside the 7 because 7 is greater than 6. So we merge this again, and then we will have a 2 and 8. And 9 and 10 remain separated. It's independent. So let's see this in a picture, how it looks like when it's being merged. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, and 6. As we could see, 2 and 3 is being subset. So we should merge whenever we see the subset within the time interval. And these are isolated, and these will not gonna merge with the initial, like a previous time interval. So we keep these two separated, and we merge these two. And when we do that, we'll see this thing. So 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be merged, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a one time interval. And these are independent because this doesn't merge, so we keep it separated. Let's see this another example again. So here we have a 3 merging time interval. 1, 2, 3, sorry, 2, 3, 4. 4 is overlapping here, so we need to merge this. And here 6 and 7 is overlapping, so we need to merge all these 3. And in this case, we should have 2 and 8 as a one single time interval, and 9 and 10 as an independent time interval. And this is how it looks. The color represents one single time interval. So we have a 2 and 8, and 9 and 10 as a two tuples of time interval. And let's see this in program. So I have a code here, and we have an interval as a given input as the 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10, and 15, 18. We have 4 items with each tuple as a time interval. So here in this case, we would see, we can just easily see that 2 should be a subset of 1 and 3. So we need to merge this, and this remains isolated as we saw in the example. And here we need to take care of last interval value. So last interval value would always be the first value minus the 1, because at the very beginning, there is no other initial time interval, so we try to make it smaller than that, and then we try to merge with the next consecutive tuple or the next consecutive time section. So here we have a last time interval as this value, so just to make it sure that this would never overlap with the first one. And once we iterate through all these time intervals, these tuples, then we will check this value with this value, like last ending time section of the previous time interval with the starting section of the next time interval. So here we do. So at the beginning, we compare the time interval of the first, like 2, we compare with the this one, 3. So I'll debug and I'll show you, but let me just run the program so that we could see we have the right value, and we have it. So 1 and 6, 1, 3, 2, 6 would merge to 1 and 6, and 8, 10, 15, 18 remains isolated. So what I did was I initially took the interval, I compared the interval of the first one with the last interval value with this one. In this case, the 2 does overlap with 1, 3, so we have to merge that. So I'm trying to put, instead of 3, I'm trying to put the 6, and after that we don't need this time interval again, and then I pop that value. So I have an I, and when it's at I1, at that case we need to do overlapping. Then we throw it away, and then I call the recursive function again, and we pass the new interval section. and I do the debug so we could see clearly what happened. So at first nothing would happen because it's the first interval, and in this case we take this. So now we are comparing the last interval value with the second time frame of the starting time section. So here we could see 2, 6 as a frame, and we have a 3. We need to compare 2 with the 3. Since 2 is smaller than 3 or equal to 3, we need to merge this. So we're going to pass through the if statement. So it is, and then we are saying that the interval I minus 1, I would be equal to interval I and 1. So we're comparing this and this. So we are just taking the value of this and putting it here. Instead of 3, we should have 6. So here we would see. So 1 and 6, we don't have 3 anymore because we just changed the value. And then we have to remove this 2 and 6. So we pop that. And then finally, we call the recursive function so that we want to restart the process again. So now our input would be 1, 6, 8, 10, 15, 18. So nothing at the beginning. So in this section, no overlapping. And also for this time frame, no overlapping. And that would be the end. And we'll just return the value because this was the iterative. So it calls, it checks to this statement again. And then finally it throws the return value. And we have a final input, final result as 1, 6, 8, 10, and 15, 18. And let's take for the another example again. I'll just cut this, put it here. Now we are checking with the 3 overlapping time frames. Just run the program. We have a 2 and 8, 9 and 10, because 2, 4, 4 is overlapping, and 7, 6, 6 is overlapping, 9 is not overlapping. So this 3 would be a one time frame, and 9 and 10 would be a separate, and that's what we have it here. Thank you.